State Senator Darren Bailey, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again. It's been a while, but we wanted to talk to you not as a state senator necessarily, but because you are a candidate for governor running around the state. We're here in Ottawa. As you are talking to the voters, what kind of issues are you hearing from them that they're concerned about?
Well, it's pretty consistent. Taxes are too high. People are moving out. Jobs, good paying jobs are hard to get because good business refuses to move to Illinois because of bad regulations. When we're downtown Chicago and on the south side, meeting a lot of friends, they want to be protected. We watch the news, and the news tells us they don't want police. That's entirely incorrect, and I challenge them. I said, go visit with your elected officials and find out what on earth is going on. So, but probably the most concerning thing is that we've got a governor and a government that's out of control. We've got tyranny, in all four corners when we're challenged with shutting our schools down, we're challenged shutting our businesses and our churches. This can never happen again. So we went through an experiment, and according to me, the people in Illinois have failed that experiment, and we have got to stand up for our rights and take them back. So I think Illinois is, to complete your question, I think Illinois is simply ready for someone who will speak the truth, who'll be bold with the moves, who'll get business done, who will not compromise, because that's certainly been the problem with Illinois politics on both sides of the party for many years.
Obviously, people will recognize the twang in your voice, but you're in deep southern Illinois, almost very near the Ohio River, I believe, aren't you?
Well, yes, over by closer to, a little farther north than that, closer to the Wabash River, okay, by Indiana. So 30 minutes south of Effingham. I farmed there all of my life. My three sons and I farm 12,000 acres. We have a trucking company. We have an excavating business. I've served on the school board. My wife and I have turned around then, started a private Christian school. So, another thing, a problem with Illinois is its education. It's time to take the education back. These education is not for the people working in it. It's for the children. It's for our future. And we have really made that a mess here in Illinois. So it's time to clean up the education prospects as well. So
yeah, I was going to say agriculture is actually the #1 industry in Illinois. You farm, 12,000 acres? And I was going to say, you were on the school board for a number of years, so you kind of bring a mixed bag of experiences, as well as now having been in the legislature for a number of years. Do you find that there are different regional issues as you go around the state, or is it more or less kind of the same across the state as when we talk about the concerns people have?
No, not at all. The high property taxes. I mean, when people buy a home here in Illinois and they end up refinancing it essentially with their property taxes over a 20-year period, that's wrong. So just the burdens of taxes and now the concern of safety. No, it's statewide, and it's what really concerns me and has woken me up is that it's downtown Chicago. We're left to believe that the people in the Chicagoland really don't want law enforcement. They really don't care. No, there's a mass exodus out of Chicago to the suburbs. There's an exodus from the suburbs down into my part of the world, because the further south you go, the cheaper property taxes are, but they're still too high, and there's only one way to rein that in, and that's get all the unfunded mandates out of our local government. And it's time to start holding our local units of government accountable too, because that's ultimately where our local property tax dollars go.
When you talk to people about these issues, or is it resonating with it? And I'm also kind of curious, are there issues that you were surprised about that are on the people's minds? Maybe not. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but sometimes, when we go in different parts of the state, you learn something that maybe you weren't aware of.
So for the most part, yes, it's a common denominator. So there's new issues. We have people concerned about 5G, for instance. We have people concerned about mandatory vaccines. There's things that we really didn't think about a few years ago, and now we're seeing some adverse effects, and rightfully so. I get that. So no, it's just for the most part, people feel they just feel like there's a burden on them. And to your point, you know, with the manufacturing, with agriculture, it's not just farming the soil, it's all the support services, you know, especially in agriculture. Every time someone touches that grain or that commodity, there's 7 other jobs out there supported, and many of these jobs, these people are packing up and moving out of state. Right now as we speak, one of the largest retailers in the eastern half and southern half of the state, Rural King, you know, they're taking a look and doing cost analysis on what it would cost them to move their headquarters out of Illinois. You know, they're making some choices. I hear this time and time again, but it doesn't matter if it's insurance companies out of Bloomington or manufacturing companies out of Moline or distributing companies out of Chicago. Everyone is beginning to look and wonder. So my plea is to wait for a year and a half, and if we can't get this state under control in 22, then I think we're going to see a mass exodus from this state. But people seem to kind of be hanging on for hope. That's our message. People are looking for someone that just simply will not waffle, because we know, you know, we look at Governor Pritzker just recently. You know, what was his campaign promise on mapping? You know, he said, if there's not an independent mapping, I'll veto it. Well, that was one of the first bills that he signed after it was passed. So we go back in the past and we just see other governors and other political leaders get in with the message, and then it all goes upside down and they change it. And those days have to stop, and the Illinois people want it to stop.
There's a lot of issues we can talk about. Maybe we can do an in-depth interview at a later time. Before we close out, why don't you give us your website if people want to learn more about Darren Bailey?
BaileyforIllinois.com, BAILEYFOR, Illinois.com. Probably more importantly, check into our Facebook page. I do random updates every day. We're in the churches all across this state on Sundays. I'm updating. You know, and people are tuning into that. I think there's a grassroots movement across Illinois, and people believe it. They want to be involved with it, and I think we're going to see a pretty interesting surprise come, you know, November of 22. So thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.